We're back and we have two-time author and all-around amazing person, Lakia Brandenburg, with us. So we started talking about the Tiara acronyms right before the break, and I think we ended with I. So what does the first A stand for?
Wow. This is one of my favorite affirmations, actually. It means to affirm him with sweet words. This is one of my favorite principles of the Tiara, because when I look at affirmations, I think of now that you've tamed your tongue, then what should you be saying? And these are words that carry life. When you affirm someone, it gives them the confidence they need. It makes them feel loved. It makes them feel like, you know what, I can do it. I think of Popeye and Olive Oyl. I know you remember that cartoon, but it's like Olive Oyl giving Popeye a bowl of spinach, because your words now act as nutrients. Your words give him the strength he needs to go out now into the world and fight for his family, to provide for his family. So you have to affirm him. There's a proverb that says that pleasant words are sweet to the soul. You know, they're good for you. They're good for your husband. They're good for your overall marriage. So affirm him with sweet words.
Now, who can't appreciate a little sweet affirmation, right? The next letter I feel will raise a few eyebrows as well. Tell us about the R and respecting his authority.
Okay, hope you're ready for this one. You have to learn to respect his authority. Whew, okay, so there's a king and there's a queen. There's two different roles that have to be played in order to make this marriage work. That's how it was designed. In any kingdom, there's a hierarchy of order. And I truly believe that it's his God-given right to be the king or the head of your household. When I think of respecting his authority, that's where I'm about to cuss. Can you be like, okay, that's where submission comes in. I cuss. I'm sorry. I cuss. That's cussing. Submission is truly understanding how to respect and allow him to rule in your house, making decisions. Doesn't mean you can't help with the decisions, but truly knowing that God has placed him head over you. So he's responsible for a lot of things, and he's going to have to make a lot of decisions that you may not understand, but you have to trust that the man that you said I do to is going to do the best for you and his family. He's not doing anything to hurt you.
Now, the last A is something I think most men watching the show can get behind, literally and figuratively. What does the last A represent?
Okay, so if all of my other principles are, say, precious gems or stones, right? I believe that this last A, this final A, is the most seductive one. Arouse his sexual pleasures often. Sex, and more sex. Well, I like to look at sex as water. I mean, we got to keep our men hydrated, ladies. Come on. I don't know what happens once we have the wedding and we get married and we get into the runt of life, but I'm guilty. Truly understanding how to prioritize that and letting him know that, you know what, I'm going to hydrate you, keep you replenished, keep you rejuvenated by making love to you, by truly giving you the things you need. So he, again, can feel like the man that he needs to be and go out and do what he's supposed to do for you.
Now, I said we were going to talk about this as well, right? So when you mentioned the whole taming your tongue thing, I couldn't help but think there's some women out there watching right now that are going to have a problem with that. Has that been the case as far as when you go out there and you talk to different women? Have you found that some of them are adverse to the idea? If so, why is that?
Absolutely. Well, normally when I break down the principles of the Tiara, as soon as I start with T, it stops. Like I said, most women give me that look as if it's a guilty conscience look, like as if I know I've been speaking to my man like I'm crazy, because communication is key. And I can't say that enough. You have to now over communicate in your relationships in order to get the results that you're looking for. I believe that it's not always well received, because if I'm used to being this independent woman who can speak the way I want to speak and do those things, you know, because I'm by myself, then once I become one with someone and realize that I have to change, yeah, I mean, there's going to be some adverse, you know, actions there. There's going to be some maybe resistance there. But there's so much power in taming your tongue. Again, I'm not telling you not to communicate. I'm not telling you that you should not speak to your husband or share how you feel. But it's all in how you do it. Another issue that I can see women having a problem with is this whole idea of respecting a man's authority. With all the successful, independent, the women, independent out there, do you think the idea of submission is one that some women will have an issue with? And why do you think that is? Well, I think, again, it's not knowing what submission means. I know I had a conversation with someone who was raised during the 50s and in the 40s and things of that nature. So submission then and what it was actually, what she experienced is totally different than what I believe God designed it to do. He brought together two powerful beings, not just one. And truly, again, the person that you said I do to, there has to be some level of trust. And submission is just truly yielding. When you yield, think of yielding. You're planting seeds. And so eventually you're going to reap a harvest. Maybe that's a harvest of peace, a harvest of prosperity, a harvest of understanding, of compassion, whatever it is. But that's because you've let go.
I read somewhere that money is one of the top 2 reasons for divorce. Do you think that's the case? And what can people do to avoid that pitfall?
Money, come on now, who doesn't love the dollar bill? And when it comes to getting with someone, joining your life with somebody, there's 2 mindsets when it comes to money. The mindset can be, one that splurges or one that saves or some, there's 2 different mindsets when it comes. And for me, I had a relationship with money before I met my husband. Now, my relationship wasn't the best. I done lied on my money. I cheated on my money. I misused my money. I abused my money. So that relationship is now coming with my husband, who has a healthier perspective of how he spends the dollar bill. So I think what happens is there's a lot of headbutting that, goes on in relationships. And because of that, that becomes the number one, because you can't do anything without money. I'm sorry. A lot of people say money isn't everything, but I'm sorry, if that wasn't the case, then a lot of us wouldn't be going through the situations that we are. So when it comes to finances, I think you have to develop communication. Again, we said communication is key, but truly knowing what it is that you want. What are your financial goals?
Infidelity is another one of the top 2 reasons why people get divorced. Do you think that a couple can really come back from that? And what do you think it would take for something like that to happen?
I do. I feel that anything is possible when it comes to relationships. And I believe that infidelity is not the worst thing that can happen in your marriage. What happens is both parties have to come together and say, this is what I want. If the marriage is worth saving, then save it. Forgiveness is definitely in order, but then that's a process. Forgiveness then helps to rebuild your trust and things of that nature. So you have to start putting forth the actions that say, I want this. Not just from the person who actually caused the infraction or the hiccup in the marriage, but the other person. Everybody has to work together now because there's a partnership. Everybody plays a part. So I do believe, even though infidelity is the second or first, within the first 2 reasons why people divorce, I feel that you can rebound from it. It just takes time. It's a process, and reinstilling and rebuilding that trust that was once there is going to take time. A lot of times we just want it to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen overnight. It takes work, but that's the work that you're willing to do in order to save what you have.
What do you have coming up next, and where can people find out more about you?
Oh, well, you know what? I am so excited because this summer I launched my Wife Style newsletter. The Wife Style newsletter is an absolutely amazing resource for any woman who's single, married, who want to get inspiration to create the relationship that they want. So you got to get the inspiration you need to create the relationship that you want. Also, I've started my wife coaching sessions, both personal and coaching, group coaching, where I'm showing women, again, how to reign as queen of their castle, showing women how there's a difference between being a married woman and being a wife. A wonderful, wonderful group coaching session to look into, but also showing women as they're single, preparing for their Prince Charming, what they need to do. Cinderella preparing for the ball. So I'm super excited. For those of you all who are interested, I'm telling you, it is a must. You got to sign up for my newsletter. Visit my website, LakiaBrandenburg.com, and make sure you also sign up for my next group coaching or even personal coaching session so that you can be the wife that reigns as queen of her castle.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lakia Brandenburg, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick. Appreciate you.
All right, don't go anywhere. We still have so much more coming up with The Nick Knight Show after this.
The Nick Knight Show, sponsored by Audi of America. Truth in Engineering.